QA site matters. Trucks hitting invisible walls since 3 years. Yeah, so this is something that a lot of people have said before. They're like, actually, QA site doesn't matter because this thing has been reported 3 years ago. It has this many votes and it hasn't been fixed. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything at all. Because the thing is, when it comes to prioritizing what bugs we do or what we fix, there's a whole host of reasons. So it's easy to pick these ones that fall through the cracks where you're talking about right now, trucks. So this is an area of the game, vehicles, that we plan on reworking. And so we're not going to go and fix every little bug with vehicles when we plan on redoing it all later, right? Instead, we can, because then we're going to be doing work and then undoing that work and then redoing the work again later, when instead we could put that work into something else, right? So this is how we sort of prioritize bugs and stuff like that. There's so many different things to take into consideration. And so just because a bug has been there for years doesn't mean the QA site doesn't work. There's like any number of reasons why that bug has not been fixed yet. But the other thing that, if you take that argument, the other thing that you're failing to recognize is the large amount of bugs that are reported and fixed almost immediately on the QA site. This happens all the time too. So yeah, it's just kind of, yeah. Because like there's like a weird thing with games. It's like if we were to buckle down and fix literally every single bug in the game as it is now, one, that would take a long time. Two, who knows if it's even possible, but you know, we could try. Three, what level of bugs is acceptable, right? Because some people will be like, hey, the game crashes for me every time, but 99.9% of people, it never crashes for them ever. So like, what's acceptable there and what isn't, right? But then the other part of it is, like, if we were to put all that work in and we did theoretically somehow make it perfect, the second we add a feature, it all falls apart again. Because a lot of bug fixing really does, like, when you're gonna like finalize things and get it all clean so it's not gonna break anymore, you have to that relies on a lot of assumptions about your game and the underlying architecture of the game, right? You have to make a lot of assumptions, and the problem is, the more assumptions you make early, the more problems you're going to face later if you're going to change the game when those assumptions are no longer true, right? So if we fix everything now, we're more likely to break the game later. And well, the game will break later when we add stuff, and then we'll have to do it again anyway. But I think we're more likely to break it even more because we would have to make so many assumptions that aren't true now. Yeah, so I don't know. It's really rough. Yeah, bugs are a hydra. Yeah. So that's not, and now here's the thing. That's not to say therefore the state of the game is acceptable. Maybe it is and maybe it isn't, right? And if you feel it isn't, you can let us know, right? And we can have that conversation. But it's just not that simple. That's all I want to communicate. It's just not that simple. And there's so many things to consider that maybe some of you guys aren't considering. Yeah. I hope that was easy to understand at least. Can you at least give an official confirmation this bug will be fixed? It's bad if there's so much QA votes, yet no official statement. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say though, Killtech, about this bug or any other bug like it, right? Am I going to do you want me to make a video that talks about every bug that's 3 years old with 1,000 upvotes and give an official statement? Because the reality is we have talked about this countless times. People who are always here on this stream will know that we've talked about vehicles being reworked and fixed countless and countless times, right? And if I made a video and you didn't see it, like, well, what happens then? That it's effectively we didn't make. I don't know. What we could do is, and this is something that I thought like would be really good, is if we could be a little bit more diligent on the QA site where we update the status of things, you know? So then people, at least they can see on the post, oh, this has been moved from like whatever to acknowledged or something like that, right? Because then that communicates the state of the bug, right? But I don't know if it would necessarily help in this case, because what if 3 years ago we acknowledged the bug, but it hasn't gotten better, right? Then it still might feel like it's not enough. And then the question is, even if we were to do that, who's going to do that, right? Who does that? Do you want the community managers to do that? We have a lot of other things to do. Should we spend our time going through QA site and marking things as acknowledged or whatever? Should the programmers be doing that, since they're the ones working on it? But there's like so many duplicates on the QA site, and should their time be spent going through the QA site to like change statuses. Maybe the producers should do it, but they're also really busy. So it's just hard. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's just really hard. It's just hard. It's just a tough thing. So I really don't want to say it's fine the way it is. If you feel it's not fine, then that's valid. But I just don't know what necessarily to do, because everything comes at a cost. So yeah. Anyway, I hope that at least clears up the situation a little bit. It doesn't fix the situation by any means, but yeah. I've been super impressed by CSS's response to bugs, even when they can't be fixed immediately. We're doing our best. And something that like I've tried to instill since the very beginning of becoming a community manager is to, I think there's a lot of companies out there that feel that they have the expectation that they need to be perfect. And I think that that's probably not a completely unfounded expectation. There's probably good reasons that developers feel that way. But I don't really want to go with that expectation. I think it's important to let you guys know that we're people. That's why we do these streams where Sid and I talk about Final Fantasy, all right? Because we're just people like you doing our best, and we mess up a lot. We do well sometimes too, and that's just how it goes. That's what people do. Yeah. Getting lectured by Jace about bugs and managing them. Great way to start a Tuesday. I'm sorry if that was too much, guys.